guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, my name is Lynn. I am an overseas student from Vietnam who had the privilege to live and work in the UK for the last 10 years. I'm using this channel to share with you guys all the experience and learning that I've gathered through my time of working here, learning about life, pharmacy, financial freedoms. Because I love learning new things, I would like to use this channel to share with people who are also interested in making themselves a better version every single day. In this video today, I would like to share with you the motivation. How do I stay motivated as I am at the beginner of my YouTube channel journey? And I've used the lessons that I've gathered from a book called The Law of Human Nature. It's written by Robert Greene, and I'm just using one of the chapters that I find really useful, really relevant at this moment in time, which is chapter 13, where Robert Greene gave us the example of Martin Luther King, who is American Baptist in 1955. He is the visible spokesperson who supported the Black movement, who supported the civil rights in 1955 until 1968. He was brought up by a very disciplined father who really wanted him to pursuing the career in medicine. He tried medicine, sociology and law, and then he found his passion in spirituality and he became a Baptist eventually. And he's just sharing the journey, how he's overcome all the difficulty and where was his listening, as at the time he willing to risk his life and his family life throughout the movement, even though every single day he received threatened message, threatened phone call. We all have fear. He's had fear as well. And the moment that he was pushed to the corner and he didn't know what to do, and there was an inner voice inside him that motivated him that he has come so far now that he should really not really give up. And that's what that inner voice that keep him going till the end, through all the struggle to overcome his fear that he had inside him to carry on with his movement. Robert Greene's giving us the description that as we facing with difficult things in life, and he quoted in the books as we could choose any other path depending on our shifting emotion. We put us this way and that. We go here instead of there. We wander through life, never quite reaching the goal that we feel so important to us or realizing our potential. The moment in which we feel clarity and purpose are fleeting. To soothe the pain from our aimlessness, we might immerse ourselves in various addictions, pursue new form of pleasure, or give ourselves over some cause that interested in a few months. I'm just reflecting on the example of Martin Luther King and how he devoted his life to pursue this right cause, and how as an individual person can follow that calling, that inner voice that trying to push us forward to become a better version of ourselves. I feel really resonate with that. I do sometimes feel a bit disheartened. I guess it's like at the beginning where you get the adrenaline, the exciting chapter, you feel motivated, but as you get to the middle part of the journey, it does need a large amount of courage to be able to just carry on with that. And I guess it's for me just to keep myself motivated, calling the inner voice to keep me moving forward, and knowing that this is everything that I've ever wanted to be able to share with people, all the exciting learning that I've gathered from my reading, from my observation, and this chapter is one of them too. If we're not pursuing any bigger goals or to follow our calling, then we're just drifting through life aimlessly. Then we will eventually feel bored, and we just bombarded ourselves with other addictions or just sitting and watching Netflix, and every single day you're the same. We feel so bored with the repetitive life that we have, but yet it takes so much energy, and it's required to overcome the resistance of the human nature. As a human being, we all thrive to a survival mode. We want to be in our comfort zone, and that's yet we just, even though we are so bored, we accept to stay in that bubble and feeling bored and start drifting daily. And I just really don't want to carry on with that. And I guess if you are at the beginning like me, then you might feel disheartened, but please do not let it stop you. Please carry on with pursuing your dream. please carry on with following your calling. Let's move on to the how. Pursue how do we follow our inner voice to keep advancing to higher purpose, and in these circumstances it's advancing in our YouTube channel journey. That's the question that you should be asking yourself. Whether it's not YouTube channel, what would be something that really interests you and it creates a lot of value to society, and that you can just immerse yourself into the flow of working and developing yourself. And that is when you have to give yourself enough time and energy to be like to sit and reflect on what was the moment, what was the activity that you really enjoy doing. So that's the question that only yourself can answer this. Your parents can't tell you, your friends can't tell you, there's no teacher to tell you. It had to start from within, from yourself, to find out what was the answer for that question. What's the definition of life work? So that is something that speaks to you from within, a voice. This voice often warns you when you are getting involved in unnecessary entanglement, or when you are about to follow career paths that are unsuited to your character. By the uneasiness of what you feel, it directs you toward activities and goals that mesh with your nature. When you're listening to it, you feel like you have a greater clarity and wholeness. If you listen to it closely enough, it will direct you toward a particular destiny. The voice absorbs you in your work that you have to do. It's sometimes harder to hear as your head is full of voices of people telling you what to do and what not to do. Hearing it involves introspections, effort and practice. When you follow its guidance, positive things tend to happen. You have the inner strength to do what you must and not be swayed by others who have their own agendas. Hearing this voice will connect you to a larger goals and will help you avoid detours. It will make you more strategic, focused and adaptive. Once you hear it and understand your purpose, there will be no going back, and your course has been set, and derivating from it will cause pain and anxiety. Robert Greene giving us the two kind of people in life. Group number one is people who are really interested in trying new things, they enjoying their freedom, they enjoy experimenting with anything in life that makes them feel happy. The second group of people prefer the stability, they like to know what's coming up, they like the repetitive lifestyle, and they just choose the path that really easy for them, and then they just carry on using that, and it's eventually eating in them, and they feel bored and they're searching for the next addictions. The cycle begin and they just carry on with that, and eventually they get to the point when they feel it's like a midlife crisis, that down the inner voice sometimes tells them that they need to carry on and doing something else, but then it takes too much effort and then they just go back to their beginning, and it's really difficult for them to learn any new skills or advance to higher purposes or to be open to other career possibility. In order to answer the questions of how our brain works, why are we prone to all of these complexity, Robert Greene describes it as that human brain craves direction, and because the human mind is the bottomless pit of endless mental space to explore, we can go anywhere or do anything at any moment. We could choose to go 100 different directions, and this is a feeling of being lost because we are given so much choices, and having an individual sense of purpose is like a compass to guide us and to point us to the right guidance and behavior to pursue something that bigger than ourselves. So by then you'll be asking me, what, Lynn, why do you waste your time answering all these questions? It takes so much time. Why can you not be settled with a stability life that you've got? So let me give you some solutions that was recommended by Robert Greene from the book. So with a sense of purpose, we feel less insecure, and he states that focus more on the work itself and equality than what people think of us, can distinguish between practical and malicious criticism. We have inner resilience that help us bounce back from failure and learn from them. We know who we are, and this self-awareness will become anchor of our life. I'm reflecting on it just like me with my channel, and as I'm learning, I'm teaching myself all of these editing, recording, even sitting down and doing my script. And I guess it's the beginning of the journey, and it's not perfect, and I'll be giving criticism from people, my friends and family, how the channel that portraying is not. I can see from the there's certain videos, certain topic that attract a lot of viewers because I guess it's exciting. Is people want to two different kind of video. If it's a video about the thing that I'm interested in learning, that I like to sit and talk to people, then it doesn't add a lot of attraction to people. There isn't much view, and I should really pursuing something that really exciting, or the journey of going somewhere. But that is not me, and I guess it's really good to receive feedback from people. I should use that to relax and trying to improve. On the other hand, I should really try to not let it affect me, and knowing that what criticism is good for me, what is my what's the purpose of me in this channel, and what is really me. I cannot change it to be something that not myself. I should really carry on with the one purpose of this channel is carry on and trying and sharing the learning that I've got to people. And this is one of them. Reason number 2 for why we should have a high sense of purpose. Having a high sense of purpose will help us turn anxiety and stress into productive emotions. You can learn to control your anxiety if you think too much about how much further you could go and how you feel overwhelmed. As a beginner for anything in life, you are always comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's that you really admired, who could be in their chapter 50, and you feel like you need to earn. There's always something that you can learn. And I don't know if you watch a film called Whiplash, when the tutor was saying that the good job, well done is the worst word in English dictionary, and there's always something that you can improve. And sometimes we might be overwhelmed with our reality compared to our imagination, the version of yourself that you really want to pursue. And if you having that kind of purpose, that you know that you correcting, pursuing the right direction, it will help us to turn the anxiety that we had into positive emotion, that drive, that motivation to get up in the morning and try to better yourself every single day by just 1%. So what are the strategies to develop a high sense of purpose? So Robert Greene giving us 5 different strategies in order to help us develop a high sense of purpose. Strategy number 1 is that you have to discover your calling in life. So you need to looking back to the earliest years of your life and find what fascinated you about a specific subject, objects, activity, or form of play. Examine moments in your life where certain tasks or activity felt natural and easy to you. In this activity, you will have a great tolerance for the tedium of practicing. Those will provide you an outline of your calling, what makes you different, and predate the opinion of others. So for myself, having a routine of having daily reflection really helped me to reflect on my journey, or reread over the journal that I have to find out what really made me happy. I'm really happy when I get to learn something really different, where I get to listen to others, be able to teach others, when I was sharing the knowledge that I've got, or when we was doing group studying at universities, or I'm emerging myself with all the great live lessons, just as what I've just done from the books here. Like I'm just emerging all these new learnings, and which make me really, I can just sit and read and be emerged with, and be able to reflect using those learning and observe with life and see how it works. I guess that's my calling, and that's how I discovered that I'm really interested in learning new things, and I'm really interested in sharing the learning that I've got to others, and which is a bonus. So that's why I would like to pursue with this YouTube channel. Strategy number 2 is use resistant and negative spurts. So he suggests to us, as you become aware of your limitation and relative lacks of skill, most people would seek to avoid discomfort. You must choose to move in the opposite direction, because you embracing this experience will build up your skills level and shape your sense of purpose. Use negative opinion as motivation toward your sense of purpose. Sometimes I'm receiving the comment of people that, why do you start wasting your time on this? That why didn't you just carry on with something that you ever know? You spent 5 years at university to do pharmacy, and that you should just carry on with doing pharmacy or pursuing it higher in the career ladder. Why is wasting so much time learning something else that you're not familiar with, and that's I have no talent, and that I should just not sit, and no one gonna be interested in me talking and just sitting in front of the camera, and those are like on and on. And sometimes as a normal human being I could just, okay, forget about this. I'm enjoying the adrenaline, the initial excitement. Now it's, let's go back to everything that I should know, and let's go back and get a good stability job. But that feeling, that idea doesn't really excite me, and I'm willing to leave everything behind and pursuing something. For me, this is my calling. For me, this is something that really exciting me, that wake me up, that motivate me and get me up in the morning. Yes, I'm gonna use these negative comments to pursue it even further. I know it's will be challenging, and nobody born naturally to be leader, to be a speaker, to be motivated, to be a learner. Everything takes a large amount of energy. One of the saying that I've always keep telling myself is that if it requires 5 years to be a pharmacist, I'm willing to devote 5 years of my life to pursue this YouTube channel. If you are starting some things that require a large amount of time and energy, and if you feel discouraged, I hope this chapter of the book of the law of human nature will motivate you to keep going further. Strategy number 3 is that you need to absorb purposeful energy. So how do you do that? We find people who are pragmatic and absorb their spirit of getting things done. Surround yourself with people from different fields who have similar energy. You will help them to elevate one another's sense of purpose. It's so nice, and again, you would be able to absorb that positive energy from people. And for me, reflecting on it, I just recently spoke to a friend of mine also at the beginning of her YouTube channel. It's Tea with Tess, where she also shares her life experience and her experience with a pharmacy. So if you haven't subscribed to her channel, please go and watch it. Every time I speak to her, I just feel so motivated that I get to speak to people who are also keen to developing themselves. I get to absorb that positive energy from her, and the motivation, the inspiration to keep carry on forward. And that, yeah, we're all struggling the same way. We all trying something different, and we have to overcome a large resistance. And it's really useful to be able to surround yourself with people, positive vibe. I guess it's a positive vibe, the motivation to like kick yourself to keep going, and to be so every time if you feel a bit overwhelmed or feeling a bit down, then take a step back and observe your circles, the people around you. Are they giving you the positive vibe? Are they giving you the motivation to overcome a large hurdle in life? Or are they just giving you the negative vibe, the feeling down, and that you are not good enough, that you should just stop whatever you do? So choose your circle really wise. There's a saying that you are the product of your environment, and you are the average of the people that you spend the most of your time with. And the next strategy to develop high sense of purpose is that while long-term goals will provide a sense of clarity, they can also generate anxiety as you realize how much work you need to do. Manage anxiety by breaking the goals into smaller goals that's achievable today. These small goals will give you a moment of satisfaction and sense of progress. Continue remind yourself of larger goal to make sure that you avoid losing track or getting mined by the unnecessary details. These goals can be seen as emerging property. Be sure to maintain a degree of flexibility in your goal, and is not to be blind to new opportunity. Strongly goals loosely held is what he said to us. And that's, yes, as I mentioned before, 1% increase every single day. The ultimate goal is something so big, so crazy, but break it down into your daily goal so that you can monitor it, it's achievable, and it give you the motivation to keep going forward. And last but not least, the strategy to develop higher sense of purpose is that you need to lose yourself in the work. So you need to have a moment of flow where your mind becomes deeply immersed into the work to maintain high level and consistent sense of purpose. This experience will be moment of profound calmness and joy. This peak experience will not happen from the beginning. You need to be halfway through the process. Then your mind will be naturally filled with all kind of information and practice. Additionally, This experience will not come at your own will. You will need to give yourself uninterrupted time with the work. This must be an emphasis on the work and never the desire for recognition. Look at this form as your religious devotion of your life's work. So that was all for me today. Thank you very much for listening. That as I realized how much of our behavior is influenced by our emotion, I've started reading through The Law of the Human Nature by Robert Greene, and I find that book's really helpful. And this is just one of the chapters that I come across with, which I deeply resonate with, and I know how relevant it is to apply to my current circumstances, and I guess it's probably also relevant to a lot of people who at the beginning of starting something new and how much that we have to overcome. And I thought it would be useful to share it out here and to motivate you, I guess, for you to understand that it's normal to feel that way and that you should not give up and just really carry on with it. Emotion might just want to go back to something that we know. You might be asking yourself, do I have any talent? You might having that self-doubt by asking the question, is it really for me? That I'm not good enough? There's always going to be those excuses that you have to overcome, and just get rid of all that negative thought. Remind yourself that it's normal to feel that way and that you are doing something that bigger than yourself. There are so many useful lessons in the book. If you find the content from this chapter helpful, then please go and buy the book. If you want to understand yourself a bit more, or to trying to understand the human nature, then I would strongly recommend you to go and buy the book. So that was all from me today. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you find it useful. I hope you enjoying the listening to the experience of myself going through this YouTube channel. If you are the beginner like me, then I hope this video will motivate you to keep going, to keep pursuing, to advance to higher sense of purpose, to strategize it as well, using 5 different strategies that Robert Greene recommended to us to support us to overcome these hurdles at the beginning of our journey. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Take care and goodbye.